This is the Tom Sense Show. I am Tom Sense, and we are coming to you right now with the real news, the fast news, and the straight truth. It is great to have you with us this hour as we cut through the spin and deliver the stories the establishment wishes would just go away. Now, before we get into the heavy-hitting lineup tonight, a quick reminder for everyone watching. This show belongs to you. You can put a question to me at any point in this broadcast, right now, in the chat on YouTube or over on X. If you have a real question that is worth answering, I will take it there and then, right in the middle of the news. We leave the noise behind and get straight to the point. We have a massive show for you tonight, from a massive victory for your Second Amendment rights to the total chaos happening inside the Democratic Party. Let us get right into it. We start this hour with a massive win for the United States Constitution and a giant victory for the Second Amendment. The Department of Justice has just finalized a new rule that sets up a clear, common-sense pathway for citizens with nonviolent felony convictions to get their firearm ownership rights back. This program was championed by our newly confirmed Attorney General Todd Blanche. It uses a brand new online application portal to completely bypass a 34-year-old congressional ban. That old 1992 ban blocked the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives from even processing these petitions. Under this new system, officials will look at applicant records and reputations case by case to make sure they are absolutely no threat to public safety. To be crystal clear, anyone convicted of violent crimes, sex offenses, or anyone residing in the country illegally is completely barred from this. Now, the gun control crowd is predictably losing their minds. They are warning that this will lead to absolute chaos in the streets. But let us state the plain thing that every single viewer can see and the mainstream media keeps carefully stepping around. The left has spent years telling us that once a person serves their time, they should get their voting rights back, their job prospects back, and a total clean slate. But the moment we talk about a law-abiding citizen getting their actual constitutional right to defend their family back, suddenly the left thinks redemption is a terrible idea. Next up, we have a shocking development out of the Department of Justice. The Internal Inspector General has just launched a formal investigation into a highly controversial strategy used by the Drug Enforcement Administration. They call it letting drugs walk. The idea is that federal agents watch massive shipments of deadly fentanyl enter American communities, but they choose not to stop them. Why? Because they claim they want to build bigger racketeering cases against the cartels. This probe was triggered after a devastating report revealed that Drug Enforcement Administration agents stood by and watched 74,000 fentanyl pills get delivered right to a mobile home park in Albuquerque, New Mexico. 74,000 deadly doses just watched and waved through. Former federal agents and common sense critics are absolutely furious, pointing out that this compromises public safety during the single worst drug crisis in the history of the United States. If the government started handing out gasoline and matches to arsonists just to see who they talk to, the entire country would call it criminal. Yet, the high-level strategists in Washington think letting enough poison to wipe out an entire city flow into our neighborhoods is just standard police work. We do not need deep state science projects when it comes to the cartels. We need absolute, immediate interdiction. You see the poison, you seize the poison, and you lock up the people carrying it. It is that simple. We are turning now to the northern border, where the heat is officially on. Canadian and United States trade negotiators are locked in intense, last-minute talks in Washington, D.C. They have less than 36 hours before President Donald Trump's executive order hits, imposing a massive 50% tariff on Canadian goods. Canada's Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc and Chief Negotiator Janice Charette met with United States Trade Representative Jamieson Greer and Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick for 2 hours, but they left admitting the job is not yet done. These midnight tariffs target steel, aluminum, and lumber. It is a direct response to Canada's unfair provincial bans on American alcohol and their ridiculous dairy quotas. Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa defended the tariff threat, calling it a necessary wake-up call for our neighbors up north. Let us be real about what is happening here. For years, Canada has treated our trade agreements like a one-way street, blocking American farmers and American products while expecting free access to our massive market. They thought they could just smile, say please, and keep the game going forever. But President Trump just put up a giant departures board and showed them exactly what happens when you try to play games with American workers. If Canada wants to keep selling their goods to the greatest economy on earth, they are going to have to play by the rules and treat American businesses with respect. The clock is ticking. We turn now to a devastating situation in South America, and we want to report this straight. A massive 7.4 magnitude earthquake has struck the western province of Chaco in Colombia. The destruction is absolutely catastrophic. The newly elected Colombian president Abelardo de la Espriella has declared a national emergency as the official death toll has climbed to at least 294 people. More than 4,100 others are injured, and at least 140 people are still missing under the rubble. The powerful quake destroyed or severely damaged nearly 87,000 homes and completely crippled essential infrastructure. There are widespread power outages, clean water shortages, and major communication failures across key cities like Cali and Pereira. Highly trained rescue teams, including units from Los Angeles County and Virginia Task Force 1, have rushed to the scene to help search the ruins for survivors. In the face of this massive humanitarian disaster and the looming economic fallout, President de la Espriella has formally reached out to President Donald Trump, asking the United States to temporarily suspend tariffs on Colombian goods to help their nation recover. This is an absolute tragedy of massive proportions. Our thoughts and prayers are with the people of Colombia and the brave rescue crews working around the clock to save lives in the rubble. We will keep you updated as more information comes in. Over in the Middle East, we are seeing some intense diplomatic maneuvering. President Donald Trump's special envoy, Jared Kushner, just held a grueling 3-hour meeting in Jerusalem with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. They are trying to breathe life back into a stalled 15-point peace plan for Gaza. While officials are calling the talks lengthy and productive, the reality is that major roadblocks remain. Prime Minister Netanyahu is holding a firm line, stating that no Israeli defense forces will withdraw from Gaza and no rebuilding will start until Hamas is completely and permanently disarmed. Meanwhile, Hamas leaders, who met with Kushner in Egypt over the weekend, are refusing to lay down a single weapon unless Israel publicly commits to the United States-backed peace framework right now. To keep the momentum going ahead of Israel's upcoming October elections, Kushner and Netanyahu have agreed to set up 2 working groups. One will focus on the demilitarization of Gaza, and the other will tackle critical sanitation issues on the ground. It is the classic Middle East standoff, but having Jared Kushner in the room means business is actually being done. The previous administration spent years sending diplomats to give speeches and achieve absolutely nothing. Now, we have real negotiators looking at the hard facts. If the media expects Israel to just pack up and leave while terrorists are still holding weapons next door, they are living in a complete fantasy world. Finally, tonight, there is a massive civil war brewing inside the Democratic Party, and it is getting incredibly messy. A group of rising progressive Senate nominees has publicly launched a rebellion against Senator Chuck Schumer. They are vowing to block his bid for another term as the Senate Democratic leader. These candidates, including Peggy Flanagan, Troy Jackson, and Abdul El-Sayed, just won major primary victories in Illinois, Maine, Michigan, and Minnesota. Now, they are demanding a complete leadership shakeup. They are claiming the party establishment is far too cozy with corporate interests, and they want a massive pivot toward heavy taxes on the wealthy and a radical shift in foreign policy. Schumer's allies are trying to defend his record, pointing to his long experience in Washington, but the far-left base is not having it. Let us run this to the logical conclusion. The progressive wing of the party has spent years pushing radical ideas that average Americans completely reject, and now they think the solution to their political problems is to double down and put the most extreme voices in charge of the Senate. If the Democrats want to hand the steering wheel over to the people who think tax hikes solve every problem, we are happy to let them show the voters exactly who they are ahead of the November midterm elections. Good luck with that strategy, Chuck. That is the news for this hour. I am Tom Sense. Keep your head up, keep your eyes open, and we will see you next time right here on the show.